Okay, hey guys, today we are going to be reacting to My Story Animated, or I think that's what it's called. I don't know. Let me check 1 second. Okay, yeah, it is My Story Animated. So they make these weird, stupid real life videos, but they're not actually real life. They're just fake and made up. So yeah, it's just weird. So let's just react to one, and yeah, hope I don't get any seizures from this.
I was having a nightmare. I knew I was, but I couldn't wake up. I heard all the thoughts that my
What? Why is it? I don't understand why it's like that. Cause you can't really perceive people as this black shadow doing he. But like, ugh, I told you this is very weird. This is very weird.
family had about me. I saw their shadows talking and saying the most terrible things. You don't belong with us. You don't look like us. You're hideous. How can I have a daughter this ugly? Your face makes me want to vomit. Suddenly,
Those parents need to chill on this. Like, you're so ugly. This. I don't know why you're here. This, that. But it's gonna make people feel so bad about themselves. I just don't understand
I was facing a mirror and I focused on my eyes that were the only beautiful thing on my face. I smashed my fist against the mirror. Shards of glass flew everywhere as it broke into a million pieces. There was one jagged piece left in the mirror and I could see my eyes
exactly how you know it's fake, because you can't punch the glass and it just randomly breaks. You'd get injured, because like people throw stuff at glasses to break them. What the heck? You can't just punch like a shop's glass and it breaks. That's impossible. And you can't just break a glass and just see like it's focusing on one of your eyes. That's impossible. That you have like 1 in a million shot of doing that. That's impossible.
glaring back at me. My eyes were red and tortured. I screamed out loud. That's when I finally woke up.
But like literally, why would your eyes be red and tortured? Only if like a tiny shard of the glass entered your eye. That's maybe. But we didn't see that, and you didn't tell us about it, and you'd be in pain. So I just don't understand this. And why would you scream? Why would you scream? Like, I don't understand.
My heart was pounding in the darkness. After a few moments, I heard footsteps running to my room. The door flew open, and the light in the hallway illuminated my family. My dad, my mom, and my younger sister stood there. Even in the half-light, I was struck by how good-looking they all are. My dad flipped on the light switch, and they finally saw me sitting up on my bed. They saw the only ugly...
First of all, she looks okay, but like, if you think that about yourself, that's your business, no one else's. Cause, like, like I feel that there's no point in making you feel good if you're already saying that you feel bad already. So there's no point in making you feel good, cause you're like telling yourself, oh, I'm so ugly. This, cause it doesn't make any sense.
member of the family. I had just woken up from a bad dream, but I was still living a nightmare. But before I continue with the story, please click the like and subscribe.
This is obviously so fake. Why would you, like, in the middle of a story that's traumatizing you, you're like, oh, please like and subscribe to this channel. Oh, don't forget to comment. Like, what is this? I don't understand. Like, maybe once in a while, just to promote your channel a bit so that more people can come in. But this is just weird, and like, I don't understand it.
Subscribe button. Jenna ran to hug me tight. Were you having a nightmare? She asked.
Nah, she was having a seizure and she was on the floor just vomiting and foam was coming out of her mouth. Yes! Yes! She was having a nightmare. Yes! Why would she scream? Oh my god. This family is so...
I nodded. But behind Jenna, I heard my mom sniff. She was still standing by the door. Oh my god, all this fuss because of a silly nightmare? I swear that you're only doing this to disturb my beauty sleep, she said. Come on, Jenna, let's go back to our beds. Jenna kissed me on the cheek. It's only a dream, she whispered before she left. It's all better now. Go back to sleep. My dad, my mom, and Jenna looked like models, and they knew it. My mom is also very vain. I know I'm a great disappointment to her. Jenna is the apple of her eye because she's growing up to be a great beauty just like our...
The way I'm feeling right now, this is my face. Literally, that's my face. What is this story. I don't understand it. Oh my god, so dumb.
Mother. When I woke up the next day, she scolded me because I poured out a lot of cereal in my bowl. How many times do I have to keep on reminding you that too much sugar is bad for your skin? That's why you have so many pimples. Jenna said she was going out to see her friends. My mom gave her a kiss and held Jenna's lovely face in her hands. But instead of saying, I love you, or take care, or have fun, she said something that only my mother thought was important enough. Don't forget your sunscreen. I had no plans at all that Saturday, so I just went back to my room and started to write some song lyrics again. I pulled out my new guitar that I bought with allowance.
All life has ended because of this. it's, it's too dramatic for anyone to watch. It's just weird. It's like a Morgs video.
And I was trying to find the perfect tune to the words on the page. If I smile, will I be beautiful? Is there beauty hiding inside me? Will happiness make me beautiful? I need to find out who I'm meant to be. I was starting to feel better about myself, but then my mom walked in the door. Put away that silly thing, she said. This is more important. She handed me a tub with something like fine sand inside. She said it was a facial mask. She said that it had special ingredients that would clear up my skin. Hopefully it will cure your acne, she said with exasperation. I'm running out of ideas on how to help your complexion. I read the instructions on the tub. I had to mix it with some vinegar and smear it all over my face. It was green and felt weird. It smelled disgusting, but after the initial reaction, it actually felt kind of nice and refreshing. My mom told me to keep it on my face for as long as I could. Although the packaging said that I should just keep it on for 1 hour, I decided to keep it on longer. I used it for 3 consecutive days for 10 hours each day. The itching was unbearable on the 3rd day. My face felt...
You guys already know what I said. This is way too dramatic. Just weird. Ugh.
Like it was on fire. I ran to the bathroom to wash it off. I could see patches of my skin underneath the green gunk. There were raised bumps on my face. I looked at myself in the mirror. I screamed. My whole family ran to the bathroom to see what was happening, but this wasn't a nightmare. My already ugly face was puffed up like a balloon. It was covered with a nasty red rash. My eyes were...
If this went any longer, or I watched it when I was a kid, foam would come out of my mouth, literally, and I'd be shaking on the floor. Oh my god.
Down to slits. I can't move my face, I tried to say, but of course they couldn't understand what I was saying. Then I felt a tightness in my chest. I couldn't breathe. My dad practically carried me out to the car to bring me to the emergency room. The nurses gasped when they saw me. They were horrified and terrified. The doctor said that I was having a really bad allergic reaction to something. My mom tried to tell them that I just used a facial mask. How long did you keep it on? The doctor asked me quickly. 3 days, I mumbled. What? My mom cried in shock. They asked me where I got the mask. I looked at my mom. She looked utterly embarrassed. I just ordered it online, she mumbled. The company claimed that it could clear really bad acne. But it turned out that a lot of face masks sold online are full of questionable ingredients like formaldehyde. That's the stuff they use to preserve dead bodies. My mom was kind of freaking out by then. The doctors gave me some extra strength medicine and it helped me breathe a little easier. But the chemicals had apparently entered my bloodstream. The only way to stop my reaction completely was to give me a blood transfusion. They tested...
Even I'm not a doctor and I know that makes no sense. That makes no sense at all.
My blood and found out that I had type B blood. My parents also got their blood tested so they could donate it, but they were type A. We can't use that, one of the older nurses said. Their blood isn't compatible. Then another nurse whispered to the doctors that they were out of type A and type B blood. My mother was about to throw a fit when she overheard it. But then we heard another commotion in the ER. Another family rushed into the hospital. They brought in a girl who was in a car accident. I heard one of the older nurses say that the girl was applying her makeup while driving. There was only a thin sheet between our beds. I heard the doctor say that the girl needed blood too. My husband and I are type B, a female voice said. I assumed it was the mother. Stacy is probably the same. But they tested her blood, and she was type A. They had a shortage of reserved blood from the hospital, and the girl and I needed transfusions right away. I waved at the older nurse. Somehow, with my mumbled speech, I managed to tell her to just switch the donors. The girl's parents could give me their blood, my parents could donate to the other girl. That's a great idea, the nurse replied, and she quickly...
A great idea or simple logic. That's just simple logic. Whoever doesn't know that is an... I don't want to say anyone's an idiot, but like, you understand what I mean. That is simple logic.
Made it happen. After a while, the commotion in the ER quieted down. The other girl, whose name was apparently Stacy, was stable, and so was I. The older nurse came in and patted me on the arm. My name is Nurse Pam, by the way. She had a nice motherly smile. She said that she hoped that I was feeling better. And I was. I could breathe normally again, and my face wasn't puffed up anymore. Suddenly, my mom walked over to my bed. I smiled up at her and was about to thank her. But before I could say anything, her face got all angry. "Why did you use that mask for 3 days? The doctors are blaming me for giving it to you in the first place," she muttered angrily. I couldn't believe what I was hearing. She was more worried about herself and not her own daughter. Then she added, "What you did was so stupid." Then, on the other side of the sheet, I could also hear Stacy's mother whispering angrily too. "Why were you applying makeup while driving? You should have kept your eyes on the road. No more driving privileges for you. What you did was so stupid."
Literally, white family be like.
Stacy and I answered our mothers at the same time. We both said, "I just want to be pretty." "Well, I want you to be pretty too," my mom finally burst out. "That's very important." Stacy's mom, on the other hand, said, "I don't care if you're pretty or not. That's not important at all." Then we all heard a gasp. Nurse Pam was standing on the opposite side of the room, staring at all of us. Her eyes darted from one side of the curtain to the next. I felt her eyes looking at me intently. Then she looked over to Stacy's bed. She clutched her heart and ran out of the room. "What the hell was that about?" my dad asked. I had to stay in the hospital for a few days.
Like, I don't even know if you noticed this, but like, their dad literally looks like a man. Just saying. No, it doesn't look like a man. He looks like a woman. Just saying. Like, if you look closely, he looks like a woman.
One night, Nurse Pam went into my room after my parents had gone. She chatted with me, and I thought that she was really so nice to keep me company. She asked me a lot of the usual questions, but then she got more personal. She asked if I was feeling lonely or sad. She was being really nice, so I began to open up to her that I was actually feeling very insecure. I told her that I recently wrote some poetry about not being beautiful enough to be loved. "I guess my mom wants me to be a different kind of girl," I told her. "I'm not pretty enough for my family." When she heard that answer, Nurse Pam bit her lower lip, and she excused herself. I didn't see her again until the day before I got discharged. Again, she visited me after my parents left. This time, she asked if I wanted to visit someone. I was confused, but curious too. Who were we going to visit in the hospital? It turned out to be Stacy, who was in the next room to mine. She got a broken arm from her car accident, and she looked kind of pale. But what struck me the most about her was how much she looked like my sister Jenna. They had the same eyes and the same hair. They could pass as sisters. "I needed to talk to you both," Nurse Pam said. "I have something very important to tell the both of you." Stacy and I were feeling very weirded out by now, but we had no choice but to listen to what the nurse had to say, and she...
My honest opinion on this is I hate it. I hate, like literally, I just hate it. Because like the way it's animated and they're trying to make you laugh. You don't force a laugh. You make them laugh naturally. You don't force it. They're trying to force it and make it look like a Lele Pons video. It's not a Lele Pons video. You don't have to do what you do. Like, it's just so weird to me. Maybe to you, I don't know. Put that in the comments. If it's weird, yeah. But if it's not weird, put it in the comments. I want to know what you want. I want to know what you think. Okay, I want to know what you think.
He said the most crazy thing. 16 years ago, when I was just starting out at this hospital, we had a major internal problem. There was one nurse who was charged with switching babies in the nursery. I checked both your records. It turned out that you were both born in this hospital. Can you tell me when your birthdays are? Stacy and I answered, and at the same time, January 15. When I heard her say the exact same date, I started to get goosebumps. Stacy's pretty eyes got big too. "You see," Nurse Pam continued, "I was the one who caught that nurse switching 2 babies, and I was able to switch them back. We thought that it was the only time that it happened, but apparently I'm looking at 2 girls who were switched at birth too." She was looking right at us. My mouth fell open in shock. I couldn't say a word. Stacy, on the other hand, had a lot of words to say. "I knew it! I knew I was too pretty to belong to my family. Apart from appearances, nothing they do makes sense to me. They keep telling me that I shouldn't even bother with my looks because my mom and my dad don't think it's important enough. That's the exact opposite of what my mom says," I told her. Then I turned back to Nurse Pam. "How did you know? What tipped you off?" Nurse Pam explained that it was our blood types. When both parents are type A, their child should be type A or type O only. The same goes for parents with type B blood. Their biological child would have to have type B or type O too. It's impossible for you to have a totally different blood type from your parents. Genetically, it can't happen, she said. But now I guess you girls have something important to think about. I felt obligated to tell you the truth, and when I asked you both about your lives, you both said that you were unhappy. It's true, Stacy whispered to me. I had to agree. My life with my mom was a complete nightmare. So what do we do now? I asked Stacy. We talked a lot that night. We both decided to tell our parents the truth. If we deserved to know, so did they. The next day when my parents arrived, I asked them to go with me to Stacy's room. My mom gasped when she saw Stacy. They looked like mirror images of each other. Stacy's mom gasped when she saw me too. Somehow, we managed to tell them what we learned from Nurse Pam. Of course, they were shocked like we were, but I could tell that my mom was feeling a little relieved while looking at Stacy's face. Stacy's mom went over to me, and she held my hand. So you're my real daughter? I nodded and she hugged me. On the other side of the room, Stacy was hugging my mother too. Somehow, after all the tears, explanations, and reassurances, we just decided to take things slow. It would be better for everyone if we got to know each other first. We appointed a day when Stacy and I could switch back and spend time with our real families for a few hours. On the day I was going to visit my real mother, I felt so nervous. I didn't really know what to expect. I was dawdling in my room when I heard the doorbell. Stacy had arrived early. I peeked out of my bedroom door and saw my mom embrace Stacy. In no time at all, they were chatting like old friends. They seemed to get along so quickly. When I finally got to Stacy's house, my real mom was waiting by the open door. She seemed nervous too. We sat on the couch and started talking about the things we both like. I asked her what she did for a living. I'm a writer, she said. Well, I'm actually a lyricist. My husband, your father, makes music out of the lyrics I make. He plays the guitar and piano. My mouth completely dropped open when I heard that. I write too, I cried. I've never shown it to anybody though, so I don't know if it's any good. I'm sure that it is, my mother replied. I bet you're a brilliant lyricist. Our chat became so much easier after that. I had a lot in common with my real parents, and they told me that they had a hard time with Stacy because she was so vain. In turn, I told them that I felt bad about being ugly. You're not ugly, my dad said. I think you were just unhappy.
I'm literally telling you, the men in this look like women. I'm telling you, what is this? If you think they look like men, put in the comments and leave a like on this video. Yeah.
If you smile more, you'll find out just how beautiful you can become. When I heard him say that, I cried. After all, those were the exact thoughts that I was writing in my song. Finally, after 16 long years, I found a family who understood me. I found a place where I really belonged.
Well, that's the end of the video, so hope you enjoyed it. And if you have any recommendations on what I should make or what I should react on, just leave it in the comment or tweet me at Michael Doherty or Trender Genius. And if you want, DM me at Saint_Fallen. And yeah, don't forget to follow me and subscribe and like, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.